Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and we're back with another banging video. So it's game on, button a rapper chain on and it's game on. No chain, no face, but it's game on. Okay, it is still game on over here. Now guys, listen. Cardi B is taking her hiatus break from the internet. Cardi B is like, y'all ain't gonna see me. Y'all ain't gonna throw me in this mix. My life is peaceful right now over here because you all were dragging me. And now that Megan is in the hot seat, honey, I'm gonna let her stay there because I know y'all are gonna come back for me. So Cardi B is taking her hiatus break from getting dragged on the internet. But we all know what? It's a break because what else do we know? Stefan doesn't know how to keep it in his pants and just give it 3 to 5 business days, honey, before you hear that another woman is pregnant. And why did I say another woman? A few other girls will be having his baby. Yeah, that sounds better. That sounds more like Stefon Diggs. Stefan doesn't do anything single. He loves the double, the throuple, and maybe he tries to outdo himself this year. We may hear about 12, but no one is dragging Stefon Diggs for having 6 baby mama in a single year, but everyone is dragging Chris Brown for having 4 baby mamas over the years. You see the hypocrisy? It is so real on social media, honey, but are we really ready for that discussion? No we ain't. Absolutely not. Let's not pretend to be hypocrites because the truth is we are not ready for that discussion. Now, when it comes to Megan Thee Stallion, she's getting dragged, honey. People are saying, listen, Megan, you're talking about Clay being a hoe, Clay cheating on you. Girl, you were out here with smashing Tory Lanez to baby and partisan all at the same time. And I was like, y'all are so messy. And people are like, no, we're not. Here's the timeline. Here's the breakdown. Here's our confession. I'm like, Jesus. Oh girl, she was having fun. I'm not gonna slut shame her because don't men do this all the time? Yeah, we can't do what men do and still be a lady. That's a brainwashed narrative, you know. It's a brainwashed concept because I believe that if a woman is minding her business and she's keeping her private business off social media and out the streets, but we are somehow able to tell and read between the lines, it is still none of her business. No, I'm not going to tear down Megan Thee Stallion. I'm always going to go easier on her when it comes to some things. And I see that she's fragile. Yes, I've always said Megan Thee Stallion came in a carton box and that carton box is marked this side up, handle with care. She's extremely fragile. I say that about me too when it comes to my health. So it's nothing for anyone to take seriously, honey. I'm a Jamaican. Insults is our favorite pastime. It's like comedy to us. That's how we were cultured. And this is why Jamaicans don't take much personal. And this is why we have such an amazing resilience because we have been through so much shit and we have to deal with hurricanes over the years that every year that when we see people taking the little stuff deep and personal, we're like, honey, if only you know how lucky you are. That's the only thing you have to worry about. You are so fortunate. So I'm just saying that to say, you know what? I do believe that Megan should value herself more. I do believe she should treasure herself more. I definitely support Stephen A. Smith when he said that Megan should have never put that man on blast. Yes, it is in a sense hypocritical. That's true. That is true. It is in a sense hypocritical, but Megan should never put that man on blast because not only did she ruin that man somewhat, she also ruined herself and she basically opened herself to be dragged, to be named called, to be disrespected. Sometimes we have to let me tell you, even though I'm telling you all this, and I'm not an hypocrite, I'm a realist. I'm not a hypocrite, I'm a realist. You know, I was about to say sometimes we have to be diplomatic, but honey, even though you hear me saying it, honey, it is hard as heck. It is hard as heck. But here's what I've learned, right? When you're faced with what feels like one of the toughest times in your life, right? And if you don't break, right, in Megan's case, this breakup feels like one of the toughest times in her life. But if she would just hold on strong and hold on tight, she would feel invincible if she never crashed out on the internet. If she was able to just hold it, write it on a piece of paper, tear up that piece of paper, burn that piece of paper, record herself crying and saying everything she wanted to say, and then delete the video, you know what that would have done for her? That would have created a shield for her like none other, because every time that she comes to that breaking point again in the future, whether by way of relationship, life, natural challenges, or whatever, she would remember that time when she thought she was going to break. She was bent, but not broken. And she would remember that in this current moment, she's bent, but not broken. And she would remember how she overcame that moment of temptation, weakness, how it gave her strength, and how she used it as a stepping stone to her greatest good. So I'm saying that to say, even though I say it, honey, it's easier said than done. But the truth is, if we could master the strength and, you know, control our emotions and shift away from the energy of the heart, because the heart is what gets us, the heart gets us. If we could shift from the energy of the heart and move immediately to the energy of the head, because we're always headstrong, but the heart, man, that is what gets us. But if she could just switch to the energy of the head and not lead with the heart in that moment, that bitch would have been the baddest bitch. Give her the next 3 to 6 months. We would have seen a new Meg out here preaching, teaching, and we would have been like, what the heck did they do to Meg? We would be saying, what the heck did Jay-Z do to Meg? What the heck did Rock Nation do to Meg? We see a new girl and we like it. Some people, they're not gonna like it because that's how fan base are. No matter how their celebrities, their favorite celebrities are growing, excelling, becoming stronger, someone is always offended by growth. So some people would not like it, but some would like it, right? But honey, they're doing Meg dirty out here. They're dragging that woman. They're calling her loosey goosey. They're saying Megan is no better, and Megan knew who she got with. They're saying that Clay told Megan from the get-go that he doesn't know if he can commit, and she was the one who was like, it's okay. I can change you. You're gonna see, allegedly. So I'm just saying, the internet, they're going in on that girl, but I'm not gonna drag her. I'm not. I don't like what she did with crashing out on the internet and then being at the club, taking shots out of a woman's bosom and putting it on the internet. That's an overkill to her image. That's an overkill overall to her reputation. We have to remember that we are our own walking resume. Perfection does not exist, honey. It does not. And Meg doesn't really have friends, so it's kind of hard to judge her. When you hear billionaire Riri saying that life is hard, and Riri has one of the biggest circles known to mankind because Riri is so loved by the internet. And can you imagine a woman that is so loved and she knows she's loved? She has a tight family unit. She has Rocky, and she's saying life is hard, and she's a billionaire. She can afford every therapist, every psychiatrist, every psychologist, and she's saying life is hard. What do you expect Meg to say? honey, what do you expect Meg to say? And sometimes too, acting unbothered is one of the biggest self-harm. Yes, sometimes the crash out may seem messy, but the crash out can actually save you because acting unbothered is a major, major type of self-harm. It slowly eats away at you and you'll become angry and bitter over time without even realize that it's that one experience that's a major contributing factor to the dark, bitter, angry person that you've become. So I'm just saying that to say it's kind of hard to judge her because she really doesn't have a circle. So I'm going to give her some grace. I'm going to send her positive energy, love, prayers. Even if she was a thought, let her thought because that girl is going through some stuff. I don't want her to be a thought. I really don't want her to. I hope she would clean up her act and just be a decent lady. I hope she resorts to finding a good church and a good church community who will have her back. They may be looking at her for a bigger donation every year or twice a year, but ain't nothing wrong with that. But they'll have her back and they'll have her in their prayer circle 24/7 because they will appreciate that donation. But let me know what you guys think about Megan Thee Stallion getting dragged through the mud. Are you seeing the comments, honey? I'm not going to put them here because I'm trying to be considerate about that girl's feelings and her fragility. And I don't want anything unpleasant to happen to her. And then I feel bad knowing that I may have potentially been a part of that. But let me know. Have you guys seen the comments? Have you seen how they've been dragging her? What do you guys think? Leave a comment below and we're going to talk some more. Peace.